steps in your step, just being
A lot. Good energy in the building. Had a good week with the vets, closing in on phase 2 here next week. But rookies got here yesterday, started meetings. We're on the practice field today and tomorrow. Excited. A lot of energy in the building. Good to see everyone's faces.
You've talked before about talking to players from last year as you guys try to grow as a staff. Was there anything rookie minicamp specific that has you maybe installing things differently in year 2?
No. I mean, we've made changes, a couple things, how we're the actual art of installing, but kind of same as from that standpoint. Couple different meetings for them to get them caught up a little bit quicker than I felt like last year what we needed. But no, we're gonna start at the bottom of the pyramid and work our way up.
You obviously have relatively small amount of players at rookie minicamp compared to a lot of teams. What's the philosophy behind kind of how you approach these couple of days?
That would take a long time, but I would say our philosophy is all we're trying to do this weekend is get them acclimated how we do things, from basically everything, from practice, the weight room, our psych people, the health people, all that. Get them used to how team meetings are going to be. So I give them a kind of a dry run on that because on Monday they're in a team meeting with everybody. So I want to make sure they're on point with what's expected and really just lay out how we kind of operate and have them get them caught up as quick as possible.
You talk about rookies don't know what they don't know, right? So
yeah.
What are they about to find out about the pro?
You better ask questions when you don't know something, No, they'll be good. They'll be good. But it's just a lot for those guys. They're in a new city. They're, staying in a hotel. They got to figure out all that, life stuff, as along with trying to come in, compete, and win a job. And Monty talked to him yesterday. Michael talked to him yesterday. But it's going to be one of the harder things that they do in the last part of their life is, being a rookie. Getting here, learning how to be a pro and all those things, but very confident with the people that we brought on board. They'll figure it out quick.
Drew was talking last week about how with Marvin, it's important for him to be just another rookie with everybody else because that's how he's going to become the best version of himself. Do you agree with that and why?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, Marvin, he's doing great. He's going to come in here and go to work with his head down and carve out his role with our team and with the offense. So that's what we expect all our guys to do. So he's not any different than that.
When it comes to competing, how quickly can they catch the coach's eye?
Today, we'll see. But we know it's going to take them some time, but the guys that will, end up catching on pretty quick, they'll catch our eye quick, So we give a little tolerance with performance, for these guys. We don't give any tolerance with behavior. That was that team meeting today. So that's what I'm more concerned about right now is are they acclimated with how we do things in the building and outside the building too. So that's what they need to learn quickly.
What's it like to watch these kids come in bright-eyed, like probably nervous? Just
you know what? If they were nervous, they didn't show it. We got a bunch of serious people, and I was actually. You get one chance to make a first impression, and a lot of these guys I know, but the amount of detail and the questions that these guys were answering day one was impressive.
These guys keep you young? You're not old by any means, but do they keep you
I am old. No, it's good. They are the younger ones though on the team now, but they got to get caught up quick.
JJ, you were in Philly when A.J. Brown came. What a difference he made for that team, that offense, for Jalen's development. Can you kind of maybe elaborate on what you saw from how that helped the team, in addition to the great player, but maybe the intangibles that he brought, to that specific
That was a long time ago. I mean, he was a really good player and a really good dude. He helped us win. That's what I would say about that.
Coach said the guys are coming in answering a lot of questions. What kind of questions are they answering?
Everything from that. That's a good question, Greg. More of football-related things, schematic, technique, philosophies about how we play all three phases. Obviously we've been meeting with these guys since they got drafted or signed for those last, 10 days or whatever it is the rules allow. But the amount of recall was impressive about, hey, what's this formation called, or what's this motion called, or what's this play designed for, or what's the strength of this coverage versus the stress of this coverage, those kind of things, football questions.
Coach, you mentioned the seriousness and the attention to detail in terms of the rookies and their approach. Does that help with somebody like Marvin in terms of accelerating his development, knowing that he's going to put the work in so he can hit the...
Yeah, I mean, I told him today, it's a good question. They're going to make some mistakes, but they're here for a reason too. So they were picked by us because of who they are as people and how they go about their business. I'm honestly not, super concerned about how they act and what they do and how they learn and how they practice and the type of teammate that they're going to be. There will be some mistakes that we'll have to correct, but I think they're going to hit the ground running.
Max said yesterday that confidence and short-term memory are the top two things that a cornerback needs to have. In your eyes, which is more important?
Confidence and short-term memory. I don't know. They're probably both important. Mindset. Do those two things go into mindset? I think I tell the story all the time. I've been around a couple guys. I'd say the really good ones, when they get a ball caught on them, the difference between those guys and the guys that aren't as good is the guys that are really good get the ball caught on them, get in the huddle, get the huddle call, break the huddle, and say, this guy's not going to catch another one on me. The guys that aren't that caliber of player, get a ball caught on them, get in the huddle, get the call, break the huddle, and say, man, I hope this ball doesn't come to me.
Would you say a big play receiver would change how the offense plays or how defenses play you? What would be kind of the more...
Depends. It's a good question. It depends, how you're deploying them, what you're doing with them. Everybody's a little bit different, but it doesn't matter what position. The more good players you have, the harder you are to defend or the harder you are to go against defensively. So that's what I'd say to that.
Max said he looked at his helmet yesterday and said he's ready to put the shoulder pads on. What's it mean to get a group of ball players?
Tell him to wait until August, I think. He plays with a certain amount of violence that that's one of the things that attracted to us on his tape. So that's one of his things that he likes and that he's good at. So I'm sure he wants to put all full gear on, but not today. Not today.
Is that a characteristic that you see typically translates to this level?
Physicality?
Yeah.
Yeah, guys that like to hit people typically like to hit people. Doesn't matter what level.
Because they all want to start or they all want to play right away, but do you have to sort of tell guys, some of this is developmental and it's going to take some time?
Well, we told them yesterday. I mean, this part of the off season. I'm a big guy on roles, right? Well, there's two types of kind of roles situation that you have is at the 53, roles are defined. And not to say that roles don't change as, after your first 53, move on to week 1, week 2, week 3. Everyone's role might change. You could be accelerated or your role can diminish too. Right now we're in the compete part of role defining. So they're competing for a role right now from now until training, all the way during training camp. And not to say that you never stop competing for your role, because you do, but this part is really, it's not defined for any of our guys really. A couple guys it's probably defined. So, but our rookies coming in, none of their roles are defined right now. So they're all competing for their roles.
Were you disappointed you couldn't go with Kyler and James?
Yeah, I got home last night after the meetings, and I click on the game, and there they are. I was like, God, I was just with these guys like 3-4 hours ago, you know? That was really cool. That was really cool. He took a bunch of guys there. I don't know who he was cheering for. I did see this morning he hit a couple threes. That doesn't surprise me. If you do anything against that guy, don't bet him because he'll take your money.
What do you think about James Conner's shot?
Not great. I think he needs to use his legs a little bit more. I think he uses. I can't talk because I can't shoot anymore. But yeah, it was a little tight. It was a little tight. That's a big crowd.
A quick step away from the rookies, but the veterans of, closing out phase 2.
Yeah.
What's something that you can gather from the little you can see them on the field of not just players going into year 2, but everyone in year 2 with you?
Yeah, they're doing a good job. I mean, I think that from the non-player side, we've done a good job, and we still need to get better at implementing the things that we wanted to get better at and grow from. I think we've done a good job, but I think it always can be better. The player side is their learning has been accelerated. Even the new guys that are kind of year 1, we'll see about the rookies, but I'm talking really about free agents or guys that maybe got here, middle of the year or whatever the case may be. So that's been accelerated, and as Evan Marcus would call it, they're picking the wrench. What he means by that in the weight room, you got 3 things. All 3 things are acceptable. This is the hardest one. This is kind of the middle one, and this is the easiest one. This is called the wrench. A lot of guys are picking that one. So that's good. And our guys they're doing a really good job from an effort, attitude standpoint, learning standpoint, in the meeting rooms, in the weight room, on the field. But they're chomping at the bit here. This week typically is a little bit of a drag. I won't allow that to happen. The players won't allow that to happen because they're getting ready they want to practice. But this is a big week for us, working the last week of phase 2 with the rookies implemented now. So we got some new faces. And it'll be fun this week and then leading up in OTAs.
What's the message to them, to the rookies, knowing that for the past handful of months they've been prepping for the combine, the pro days, the 40-yard dashes, that type of stuff, and now you're transitioning from that to now playing football?
Yeah, it's going to be a big transition. It's time to play football now, but we'll integrate them slowly because we want to be smart about their health too. So that's what part of this weekend's about for me, is just checking where they're at, so they did a lot of tests yesterday. The next couple days, we'll make sure that they're ready to go compete for their role, health-wise, and they'll have to ramp up a little bit as we go, but they're ready to roll.
Off of that a little bit, how do you handle if the kid gets overwhelmed with this whole week, the whole process kind of early on?
These guys aren't going to get overwhelmed, honestly, Josh, but it'd be a conversation with them, you know what I mean? So you just that's kind of developing a relationship with the position coaches, with the coordinators, with everybody in that building that's here to serve them. We won't allow that.
Are there things that you guys do to help them not get overwhelmed?
Yeah, a lot of things, but it starts from the conversation piece and knowing where they're at daily, you know what I mean? But there's a lot of resources in that building that they can use that can help them. But how we structure things and how we set up things here, hopefully we nip that in the bud before it happens.
Marvin said he didn't do a lot of the testing, so you can be fresher for the season, potentially the long haul. Would you expect to see some of that freshness here this weekend?
Yeah, he's just like everybody. We'll see how he is. You know what I mean? Again, he hasn't been practicing football. You know what I mean? Everyone's kind of been on their own, doing their own thing. So I know that he's glad to get immersed in our structured way of how we do things and fall in line with that because he sees the value of how we do that.
Coach, there's a balance between being detail-oriented, taking care of the little things, and then burning out. How do you kind of find that balance and then translate that to the team?
You know what? That's a good question, Greg. Here, I'll give you an analogy. Does everyone know their phone number? Does everyone know your address? Who knows their checking account number? You guys know it? You do, Jose? Good for you. You might have a lot of money. Yeah, a lot of money. So that's going to lead into this, Greg. Like there's things that the details you have got to know. That because it goes into winning in football games. Then there's other details that you got to know, but you might get a buddy to ask, "Hey, what is that?" You know, or, "Oh, I need that not every day, but I'm going to need it here." So that can maybe be at the little bit back of your mind, where if you're trying to know your checking account number, your bank account number, your address, your phone number, your wife's social security number, your wife's, like, no chance burnout, right? So you just got to pick and choose. But I would say, you guys heard me talk about the health or the 5 buckets. Health is one of those. There's 4 other ones, but they're all present. You just got to know where to put time on task to each day. You know what I mean? And I think that gives them a chance to not burn out.
Who decides what's important and what's not? Like, that's when you guys tell them up front, be like, this is what you need to know.
This was how I was going to answer that. Was going to be so hubris. I was going to say JG. They have to have self-awareness about it, you know, but we help them with that.
Obviously, you want guys to come in and know what they're doing, but is there a side of you that almost hopes there's a couple mistakes where they go back in?
Well, there's going to be mistakes, but yeah, because I do think that you learn from failure more than non-failure. I do believe that. You got to be able to learn and grow from both. So the perfect rep, you got to be able to learn from that and grow from it. But I do think that there's a little more learning from when it's a non-perfect rep. So we'll be on the details of that stuff.
Kyla mentioned how locked in he is this offseason.
He is.
Curious what's that has looked like. You've been with the veterans.
You know, so this is my second offseason, but really in my mind it's my first offseason with him. Just because he's now acclimated into the program. You know what I mean? He wasn't doing what he's doing right now last year. So, yeah, we're going on year 2, but this is really year 1 off season for me, where I've seen him on the field with everybody, in the weight room with everybody, you know what I mean, lifting and meetings and all that stuff with everybody. So that's been really cool. And like I said, guys, like, I think his game's going to go to another level. I know it is. I've been extremely pleased with where he's at, what he's doing, the command and the leadership that he's displaying right now. I mean, I think it was the best RVA I've ever seen in my life on Wednesday, truthfully. I had to watch it a couple times. Did my eyes really see what I just saw? Not to put a bunch of pressure on him, but he's doing extremely well.